and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Universal, a podcast dedicated to discussing workforce and workplace problems, assisted by our esteemed fellows in answering your burning platform questions. And today I'm joined by Feliana Citradewi, a serial entrepreneur, a founder of Women's Circle Club, and also the founder of LiVert, a pioneer of online delivery pooling. Oh my goodness, what an introduction.
Thank you.
Welcome, Feliana. How are you?
Hi, Erika. Great. And how about you? It's been just like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so we recently just did the Women's Equality event sponsored by US Tech Solutions, and it was a great conversation talking about how organizations can move the dial on their kind of women's equality initiatives in the workplace. And actually, seeing as we've brought it up already, we'll get into who you are and what you do in a minute, but I guess what was some of like the key topics that you think came out of that discussion?
Sure, with pleasure. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this podcast and also to our event. It was a great conversation with Hira and also with Kelly. We talk about how actually women can thrive in workplace, right? As well as promoting gender equality. So for me, myself, as I already discussed, the first thing I used to look is first internally, right? Before we say that, okay, the environment is not good, this and this person is responsible for it. What can we do from within, right? So internally, sometimes I just think that female can have like several lack of confidence, such as like just this imposter syndrome. We don't know why, because actually female is not less competent than male. So this we can work from within. I think to be surrounded by also inspiring female, it can help and make you gain also self-confidence, right? And the second thing, which is I always try to remain people, of course, networking. This is, I think, the we haven't talked enough, because male, they are dominant in networking event, which is actually weird, because knowing that in many studies, it's shown that female normally more sociable than male. So we need to thrive in this sector, and why it's important, because network is actually a key to succeed professionally. 80% of people who succeed say that it is actually their ability to create network. So this is how important network is. And the third things that I think super important, and I think we all both agree in the event, that our voice is not heard enough. Still, patriarchal society, I mean, male opinions still heard more than female until nowadays. Even though there's many quota everywhere, that's great, but let's see, just on the media, on the television, maybe there is an equality between male and woman in the studio or in the guest speakers, but the time of speaking between male and female, it's still unequal. In France, for example, the number I know better, female has only 34% time speaking compared to male. So it's it's a real problem, because if you want to change the society and you have only the majority opinion from male, how we can even like support equality in the real equal manner, from both views. So this is one thing that really I think we need to work on all together.
Working as well, because it's really exciting that you're also bringing out a book very soon about networking. Is that aimed at female professionals and helping them to figure out how to do it?
Well, not exactly. This is actually the book for everyone, because I think everyone needs to know how to network. It is rather intended for startup or for a business, people who want to create their own business or in the business, how to network, Basically, it's more also to how to have a genuine relationship, because network sounds like, okay, let's collect, business cards, but it's not the goal, how to create a genuine relationship that lasts and also can be a win-win for both parts. That's the goal for everyone. And I have special page for especially for women actually in the book, because I always strive to support and empower women as part of it. So for me, for women, what is interesting, like I said previously, we have more social capacity, right? And actually the success right now for everyone, it's considered by your wealth or by your financial status. This is true actually mostly for men, because men still view until now as the bearer of the family, right? So we can actually take advantage from this for once, because we are not seen as the bearer of the family. So we can set our own rules. Our success can be also considered as our network. How big is our network? How powerful our network is. And this is the domain that female can thrive. Back again with the first argument, because we are more sociable. And secondly, we are proven that emotionally, more empathy, we have more empathy and stuff. And this is help in a social and networking event and process, you see. So I think that it's very interesting for women to start to think that network is their power.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm.
that idea. But
Mhm.
Feliana, let's go back to the beginning.
Sure.
Can you tell us who you are, your background, and what drives you?
Sure, with pleasure. So, I come from Indonesia. You see, as my name. From my parents, a middle class family. They managed to save money so that they can put me in one of the best school in Indonesia, right? So I felt so lucky that I get a great education. While in my city back then, I left Indonesia 15 years ago. There's many street children still until now. They don't have access to education. They just end up begging in the street. And I used to teach them with some friends, but they're still hungry and they leave the class, right? And the other thing, I always wanted to go to the UK. This is so funny because you're in the UK, right?
Yeah.
So one day I saw this competition of debate and writing from British Council. I end up won the trip when I was 17, full accommodation and stuff to the UK. I saw no child left on the street. They are not hungry in any way back then. I don't know now. It's been 17 years. I haven't get back. It made me think that I want to contribute something. You want to give more impact, you need to change the system. Okay, so that's why my dream was to learn social and political sciences in the UK. So I got a full scholarship proposition back then, but the Indonesian certificate, unfortunately, is not considered as equivalent to A level. So by Cambridge and Oxford, and it needed to be Cambridge and Oxford for this
Yeah.
scholarship. So even though my parents already gathered all the money, it's not enough. Even though I was from the best school, it's not enough. So long story short, my mom is in France. She is remarried to my daddy. He's French. So she invited me to come to France because school here is kind of free. So say just come, but I don't speak French. Just learn. Okay. So I learned 1 year French, and I got an undergraduate degree for public law. After that, I managed to take like 4 master degree, double degree, including from one of the top French school called ENA. Maybe in UK it's not well known, neither in Indonesia or elsewhere, but in France it's kind of the school from all of French president. Macron, François Hollande, Jacques Chirac, etc. So I'm the first Indonesian woman who entered this school, like just by my own, and it just like a full chance and work. That's it, I think. So after that, got headhunted by corporates and stuff. I worked several years, and I just decided, like, look, I just follow all the path like that. I want to create more impact. So I create my own company. I left the corporate world, and shortly, what drives me is to let's say to bring the more net positive impact to the world as much as I possibly can. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's coming through really clearly from the different little, I say little, from all the businesses that you've started and serial entrepreneur you've put there, and that makes complete sense, and it sounds purpose driven. So I really like that, and in that same vein, your motto is, and I found this somewhere, don't ask me where. What is worse than not succeeding is regretting your life knowing you'd never had the courage to try. Why that?
Yes, because actually, put it in my website. I just think that some people, like many people, afraid of failure, right? But for me, what is scarier, and sadder, by the way, it's because you're afraid of failure, then you are not there to try and spend the rest of your life regretting and repeating, like, what if? I think failure is not fatal, right? I failed when I was in high school because I choose the wrong path, not the wrong path, but I choose science because everybody put pressure on me. You need to choose science because you have a good grade and stuff. Nobody choose social because I want to just learn social. I didn't follow my heart. So that's why I also think like success and happiness is not eternal, right? Therefore, money, wealth, it's not a goal. It's just a tool. So what I think it's more important, you need to enjoy the journey and have the life that align as much as possible with the value. And by the time you're trying to also reach your dream. So yeah, that's why that's motto.
It goes along with what you were saying earlier about that internal work that women still have to do. With women in the workplace and women's equality, there is a two-sided notion to this, as in, like, organizations need to do better, of course, and there are systems and processes and barriers that need breaking down, but ultimately, for women as well, there is a process of educating, of that daily practice of mindfulness and how do you kind of overcome things like imposter syndrome to ask for what you want, because men ask for what they want and they they're more likely to get it because they actually ask for it. And so I think that work is just as important. Obviously, with the networking piece, you've also founded the female kind of network women circle club. What motivated you to create that community? Was there a problem that you identified that needed to be solved?
Yes, exactly. So when I first become entrepreneur, I just think that, wow, I want to burn all of my degree.
Yeah.
It's useless. Useless. I mean, like, it's not useless, but it's so hard that I need to learn everything from zero, you see. But the only thing that is worth is the network. And also in business, that in startup, for example, only 2% company funded by female get funded. So I succeeded to create my company and got the small funding from Silicon Valley. I was also a jury for several events like CES Las Vegas, Viva Tech, World Hackathon, and also mentor for Accelerator. I was so lucky because I created a great network. And this network actually that helped me to do all of these things. So I think network is important for everyone. And as I said, that 80% success of a person is linked to their ability to build a network. So I want to support other female. I don't have money yet. So therefore, I have network now. I want to open my network as well as like building a bigger one altogether. That's why I created this woman circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, even organizations, because I guess that's for kind of female founders, but actually there's something to translate from that into female professionals in the workplace that
Mm-hmm.
the organizations can take away from that with, regards to ERGs and things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Exactly, because actually Women Circle Club, it's not only for female founders. It's
Mm.
70% not founders who came, and not
Right.
only female. So we are doing something inclusive without excluding other, right? It's a network, professional network, in the core of it to support, in the center of the cycle, to support female founder. Who came is also investor, other founder, male or female, and also professional, what we call expert. Because what I think that what female founder need is to connect as well as with its investor, with also their peers, right, male and female, and also with the sources, which is experts. Expert, who is the expert? Actually, professional, like women who's in the career of like big company and stuff. They have certain expertise that they can share, or they can
Yeah.
collaborate, or they can do business together. So yeah, it's actually applicate also for other professional and female in corporates, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that, what's interesting here is that allyship, between men and
True.
women. Because in the event that we, the discussion that we were having at the women's equality event, it's actually the ties between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be working on that allyship between
Mm-hmm.
the two. And so it's fascinating that, you've also got men in the network.
Yes, exactly, because actually my co-founder is male. Why? Just think that, as I said previously in our discussion, when you want to be equal, you need also the other party to recognize that you are equal. You cannot auto declare yourself. Like a country, you need other country to recognize you.
Yeah.
So if male also join this movement, then this is the achievement. That's why we really need to take male as our ally. And I do believe that many male out there, they want to support gender equality. They also want to support female to succeed. So that's why our event, and even our co-founder is also male, and the event is all inclusive. The panel is mostly 50-50, besides of course for example special International Women's Day, or like we have full female panels, but we always try to put it 50-50, so we have the view. We can also learn from male, right? Because we will collaborate with them, right? The idea is just not to create a block that there's a female block and a male block. The idea is to work together finally in equality. So this is how we're trying to do, and this is our way.
I don't know where mentorship comes into the network that you've built, but how important is mentorship of women in and around business?
Yeah, sure. I think that it's very important in the early stage business. For example, as me myself, I got a mentor before I giving back as a mentor. Actually, it's funny because my co-founder now in Women's Circle Club was my mentor.
Yeah.
So in the Station F program, and then found out that we work together great, and we found this. Mentorship. It's important because it's not because female lack of competency on something. It's just like doing business is hard, creating a company is hard, and it's worse when you feel lonely. And moreover, female is still underrepresented in business area, even though it's growing number of female founders. But if you already feel lonely, you don't have a role model, you'll feel lost. And at the beginning, it can be very discouraging, because a lot of things need to be done. It's difficult. And that's why even Station F said, the French incubator, 90% of entrepreneur problem can be solved by other entrepreneurs. This is the idea why mentorship is important. It's not to say that, there's a mentor, there's a mentee, but it's how we can solve the problem together and not to be isolated. How the good support can shape finally your journey, your business, and can help. at the beginning, you know. So if you guys need, please reach out. Don't suffer in silence, you know, speak up your problem. And I'm also a mentor. I accompany mostly female, of course, but please reach out.
Yeah, and as you say, like actually there's opportunities for, you know, solving problems, not just about being a mentor and a mentee, but there's a lot more to that kind of relationship between people, and that there's a transaction of value both ways. And how have you seen women's networks, whether that's like a women's network within a business like an ERG, or whether that's like a network like yours, help to progress kind of women's careers, not just like, you know, building a business, but also if they're within an organization, to actually push them through?
Yeah, this is, I think, very important to evaluate what is the impact, right? As I said, as an entrepreneur, we like to have the feedback from our user, right?
Yeah.
Simply we ask them, you know. And by the way, at the beginning, One Circle Club is only intended to create for International Women's Day. After that, like all participants say, like, when will be the next event? You know, we really think that it's valuable and stuff. Please create a more event like this. So that's what we think, that maybe there's a need here. That's how we evaluate there is a need already. And after that, every time we ask the feedback, like what you need, you know, and how it can help you, who actually you need to be connected with. My co-founder and I, in the networking session, we are the Cupid. Every time, so people, we ask who you need to reach out to. Okay, you need to meet this guy. You need to meet this guy, a woman. And, you know, we connect them. And also, what is important, I think, the difference still between male and women. Men, they take network as an accelerator of their career. Think professionally, you know, and they benefited from it fully. Sometimes women, they think that networking is kind of a social support. Of course, we still already have a lot of problems, right? So it's true that but we also should be able to use network as an accelerator for our business and for our career. And this is how we're trying to shape our event, our club, for women to directly talk about business, professional, and just push them, you know, to act this way.
Yeah, there's some really interesting things coming out of this for me, Feliana, in terms of what organizations can learn from what you're doing. And there's, yes, the networking piece of helping women to kind of expand their own personal network, because we also know that, you know, personal branding is a huge marketing tool now for businesses. You know,
of course,
businesses don't sell businesses, people do. So, you know, to encourage their female professionals and leaders to expand their own networks and to connect with people, to build relationships, is a business benefit to them. But also when it comes to like and then obviously, you know, employee loyalty and retention, because you're investing in them as a professional, you know, there's all those kinds of things. But when it comes to the ERG groups, what's coming out of it for me is that, you know, for a women's network within an organization, you're really talking about kind of male allyship within the group, but you're talking about, yes, still providing those kind of supportive networks, in the sense of, you have a problem, let's talk about it, and you know, addressing women's concerns and things like that. But also actually through a women's network, providing those career drivers, whether that's, you know, bringing an expert in to talk about independent, you know, finances, or whether that's to talk about, I don't know what else that could be, but actually talking about, you know, professional skills and how do you develop your professional skills, providing outside of the ERG opportunities to upskill and to do so. That's what's coming out of this for me, is that actually there's a lot that organizations can take from what you're doing.
Of course, because actually we have also a program, corporate program. We collaborate with some corporate for their female in their director, C-level, etc., to can join our club. there is a corporate, because also they are encouraged by the regulation that I already talked about the last time. The ESG directive from European Union not only encourage, oblige every company to do their extra financial reporting, which is including, of course, environment, social, and also governance. And inside that, of course, there is also a gender equality and a support for female, right, in the director level. So with doing all of these things, they actually empower female to become a leader also in the organization and complying with the law. First of all, so it's first incentive. Secondly, it's already proven from many study, actually more diverse corporate, so female, also culturally diverse, like here already mentioned last time our conversation, they actually create more profit. So there is no excuses. Actually, it's only about the will. Do you want to have more profit? Do you want to comply with the law? If yes, then put more women and diversity, period.
Difference between corporate social responsibility and ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance. And really the difference is measurement and being able to prove that you're actually doing it and that your impact is growing and that you're investing back into the community and things like that. And I think in the US we're going to start seeing more of that as well, because people are going to want more compliance, more regulation. And as you say, women come underneath the diversity and the social piece.
Yes, exactly. Even there is another directive in 2022 about especially the requirement of Europe to have at least 40% in the board director, C-level governance. You need to have female, like 40%. Right? By 2026, you need to comply. So you already need to be on the way, because in any way, this will be big everywhere. Ability is not like ESG, is not just about the choice, we have no choice. This is only our one planet, environment is not a choice. And also about social and governance, this is about the future we want to shape for our children, for our grandchildren, etc. You want, of course, the better world, right? This is why everybody start to talk about sustainability. This is how we are going toward it. And don't worry about regulation. Europe, we are the champion, we will export our regulation everywhere. So just mindful about even how to comply, how to follow the rules. That's it.
And how do you think organizations can create a more inclusive and supportive environment for women at work? Is it, how do you think they might do that? I guess that's quite an open question, but do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's so many ways, right? Because first of all, we already said that, of course, we need more women in the leading position, because it's easy to just like, okay, we have 50-50 men and women in our company. In what level? If also the female just like a standard administrative level, not a decisioner, this is not the real equality. When you talk about equality, you really need to dive that it is really a real equality and a real equal opportunity. This is important. It's not to force that female need to be 50-50% with the male, but have the same chance. And since we are still inferior number everywhere, if there is a similar capacity, you need to choose women first. This is one. Second, I think also in daily situation, you need to really hurt more female and women opinion. Again, this thing I repeat again and again, because still, even in the media, we hear only 1/3 of female voice. This is even more problematic because we know that the representation of a female is growing. So which means that they just only take us as a quota. But when we are there, we are like a green plant, just like to decorate, and then we don't talk. They don't hear about what we want to say, what is our opinion. It doesn't matter. This is worse. So if the real equality is also to let female speak up, listen to what they have to say, so that it can also shape our society, the mindset change, really change the mindset in our society.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely kind of ringing bells in my head. And I guess if we kind of go back to the mentorship piece, what I find really interesting is that, you know, when we talk about mentoring women in a business, it doesn't have to be, as you say, a woman who mentors them. It could be a man in the workplace that helps to mentor them. But aside from network opportunities like with yours, I guess, are there, how can organizations better connect women with mentors to kind of support their specific needs? I guess does a person who mentors have to relate to them on some level?
Well, yeah, I think I agree with you. Again, I not always female need to be mentored by male, by female, etc. So it will create separation. For me, you can be mentored by male or female, but the most important, like you say, whether it is connected with their need. After all, it's a human relation, right? It's how to create a genuine relationship, like I explained before. To create this genuine relationship, you need to really connect. Is this person right for you? You need to ask the person that is being a mentee, right? Is this person the good profile for you? You're not imposing someone, to work with someone else and then say, okay, you need to listen to this person absolutely. Well, maybe it will not work. If it not work, you need to change, So, and also it's in progress, because maybe at the beginning it worked, but by the time you found out that, oh, no, the style of maybe the mentorship is not right for me, it's not that this person is not good. It's not the right person for me. We don't have the same we don't have the same way of thinking. Then you should change, and we need to be agile. We need to ask for their feedback. So I think that's how we can really improve.
Yeah. As again, everything that's kind of been said today, it's really about having that two-way communication of what do you need, how can we best support it, and if an individual needs support with a mentor, whether that's a man or a woman, that actually it is aligned with what it is that they're looking to do, and listening. Again, it's having that conversation, but also saying, actually listening to either the feedback or what that person describes as what their challenge is. So that's coming out as a really strong point to me. Feliana, is there anything else that you think organizations should be thinking about, or do you think that we've kind of hit the head on kind of talking about women's equality?
Well, I think that already, if we apply all these points that we are discussing, it's already a good point to make the condition of a female in the workplace getting better, and also to achieve more diversity, to comply with the law, and to get more profitability. You see, but everyday gesture, it's also important, I think, to make really female feel safe in the workplace, feel heard, feel safe, and to just feel equal in their daily basis.
Circumstances are different in each of those places. Cultures are different in each of those places. I remember working with some women in India, and I was saying, why can't we work UK hours, because it's a global business and they're on my team, and they were saying that actually for them it was unsafe to get to work.
See?
So then I was like, well, I didn't even realize that, because they'd be walking to and from work at unreasonable hours. So it's things like that until you ask the questions you don't know, but actually just being cognizant of the fact that there are things, working with a global workforce with different cultures that in different environments that actually you might not know, but just having that that open conversation and just being like, okay, yeah, no, that's completely fine. I won't ask you to work those hours. That's unreasonable of me. So yeah, Feliana, thank you so much for that. And I do want to just go back to the ESG just really quickly, because I find ESG such an interesting conversation, especially since the fact that you run a pioneering online delivery pooling for greener shipping. And for organizations whose ESG is a real problem, perhaps they need to do quite a bit of kind of delivery as part of their business.
Yes.
Do you want to explain how that works?
Sure, there. Well, actually, it's very simple. I know when COVID hit and stuff, like everybody, right? So we start online shopping like all the time. And I just found out, like, for example, if you want to buy, I don't know, $15 of t-shirt and you need to pay like £5, let's say £5 delivery, it's not worth it, right? And when I go to throw all of my boxes in the trash can in my building, I just saw so many boxes come to the same website I used to buy, right? So I think, well, they're my neighbor, and they pay shipping like me, and we pollute the planet altogether. So how can we just like group our online shopping so we can pass the minimum required by the website to get free shipping, and in the same time we reduce our environmental print, effortlessly. So this is how we do. This is what is LiVert is, and we collaborate with corporate by integrating our API solution so that they can reduce their environmental impact. Actually, we are one of the rare solution in the last mile delivery that can reduce the CO2 and also plastic and packaging, of course.
That's just fabulous. Like, to have that level of impact on like your CO2 emissions and the way in which things get delivered is just incredible. Feliana, what do you think, when it comes to sustainability, there is kind of I'll just do what I need to do to kind of get compliant and then leave it at that. I'll say that we plant a tree, but we don't really. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges of getting kind of this broader adoption of sustainability practices in the workplace?
Well, I think really company is not association, right? They need to make profit. So that's why I think ecological value need to rhyme with economical value. This is how to cover to trying to respond to these challenges. Save planet need to rhyme with save money. So that's why I think that this is our core value in LiVert, how we can combine ecological value and economical value. Unless it will be like a hypocrite just to ask people pay more, right? So if you just ask people to pay more, it's just like ecology can just be the matter of those who are more fortunate. And those who are already less fortunate, they are even feel guilty. We make them feel guilty because you don't do anything for the planet, for the environment. So to make this beautiful value accessible for everyone, we need to give financial incentive too. Every solution we propose need to combine this, save planet and save money. And after that, there's no more excuses. Everybody can act. And as we know, when we are alone, we move faster, but together we will move further. And for this, we need to move faster and further.
I can totally hear and understand.
Thank you. Save money. Exactly.
Yeah. Great stuff. And what are you currently working on, Feliana? Is there anything upcoming that you can tell us about? I know that we've got the book, but is there anything new that you'd like to share?
Well, actually, I am, of course, very excited about the book. It's not yet there, but it's in pre-order. And of course, about Women's Circle Club, because this is like the thing that important for me to move forward, female cause. And other thing is actually I have another like company, just like my own private company, like Feliana Citradewi, like a corporation, but to also connect people. As you know, I love network, and I have network all around the world. like in France, in the US, in Indonesia, and China, and like several other parts in the world. And I love to connect people. And I found out that there is so many projects all around the world that need to be connected. So if you need anything from all of this base country or else, yeah, of course you can reach out, and I hope that I can help. And this is like the project that I'm already working since even before I created my startup, because just simply people reach out to me. And another thing, I also actually mentor and company, founders, mostly female founders, to launch their business, or if they have a professional conversion, maybe to become entrepreneur and stuff, to bring their idea to life as fast as possible and the more sustainable as possible in all the term, sustainability in term of ESG and also in term of the sustainable business. So I also like accompany them, not many of them because I have like my company and other things, but in the same period I take just several female to mentee or to give them like specific program that will reply to their needs. So if you need, you can reach out. Of course, with this podcast, I will consider about, of course, special price as well. But this is all the venture that I'm doing right now.
Great stuff. If there was one last piece of advice that you could give to an organisation, maybe about women's equality or supporting women, something along those threads, what would that be? What single kind of last piece of advice would you like to leave them with?
Sure. I think, again, I will be very honest with myself. One thing that really helped me personally and professionally, it's network. Please, start to build your network, because it's really helpful for your professional life and also even personal life. As we know now, is like your network is your net worth, right? And if I may add one more advice, I think more as a friend. It's sometimes like we forget. I mean, I want to say this because actually recently I've quite sad news. Like one of my student, like brilliant and like very kind and like ambitious and just pass away, right? Young and ambitious and have a lot of bright career, peace to his soul. So I think we forget sometimes the greatest blessing is time we have. So of course, use your time wisely, but remember to enjoy every minute, and be blessed for every second, and enjoy your life journey, right? Without don't live with regret, and also don't wait to live your life to the fullest. Yeah, I think that's my last piece of advice.
Well, thank you for that, Feliana. And you're absolutely right that, even when it comes to high performing professionals in the workplace, or whether you're a female founder or just, any kind of founder, that actually, there is that balance that you need to be mindful of, and to be able to just to prioritize what's important to you. And so thank you for sharing that. I'm sure there'll be people who appreciate that. And thank you so much for your time. It's been great to chat to you. Unfortunately, we are out of time. But for those listening, if you would like to learn more about Feliana and the services and different businesses, then we will be putting the URL link that Feliana has provided us with in the podcast description. And if you would like to catch up on the Women's Equality event, then just visit our YouTube channel. It's all there. You can go back and listen to the conversation that we had there. And obviously, if you are looking to join a UWI event coming up, there are plenty coming up this side of Christmas, and more every month as we go into 2025. So make sure that you subscribe to the newsletter, and you'll get updates straight to your inbox. But for now, thank you so much for joining us. And Feliana, once again, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Erica. Thanks to you, actually, to also supporting a female diversity, organizing so many events that make us being heard. Thank you for all of your work. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here with you, and was a great conversation. Thank you again.